Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Shefali Singla, and in this session, we are going to talk about view serializable schedules. So, guys, quickly give me the confirmation if the audio and the video is fine. Abhishek Sen, database management system. Exactly, we are going to cover the one concept in today's session from database management system. And specifically, this is from transaction and concurrency control unit. सो कल वाले सेशन में हमने सीरियलाइजेबिलिटी की बात की थी वी अंडरस्टूड द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द सीरियल schedules and the serializable schedules and then we covered the concept of conflict pairs and how to check that whether the schedule is conflict serializable or not. If it is conflict serializable, then you were supposed to return the serial schedule, and on the basis of that I had given you two assignment questions. I hope that you all have tried those questions. Anyone who tried those questions? बच्चे कोई कंफर्मेशन नहीं आई है. So first of all, we will be covering the assignment questions. दो ही questions थे and after that we'll learn the concept of view serializability. बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ें नहीं है. And after that I have to talk about one important concept, that is the concept of the checkpoints. तो चेक पॉइंट्स का कैसे यूज करके वी कैन रिकवर if any failure occurs, how to do the recovery. Okay, so after view serializability, we'll talk about the concept of checkpoints, commit, and rollback. So this is the first assignment question. This was the assignment question. Anyone got the answer? Anyone got the answer for this question? Okay. So what we need to do here is we need to find out the conflict pairs. So conflict pairs होते हैं, तीन conditions हैं conflict pairs के लिए. First condition is the operation should be performed on the same data item but by different transactions, and at least one of the operations should be the right operation, right? So here find out the conflict pairs. This is a read operation on the data item Z. So now we'll be looking for the right operations on the data item Z. So this is performed by the different transactions. So first conflict pair that we are getting here is T2 to T3. I need not to write all the cases कि कौन से ऑपरेशन ने किए. वो कल जो मैंने लिखा था that was just for understanding. एग्जाम में आपको ये सब लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Now check, is there any other operation on Z? No, it's not there. Next one is on Y. It's performing a read operation on Y. Check for the right operation. So here this is performed by the same transaction, so we'll not consider this. Right operation on Y is performed here. This is T2 to T3. We have already noted it down. Next one is any other right operation on Y? Yes, it's performed on 1. So this is resulting into one more conflict pair, that is T2 to T1. That's it. Check for the next one. Now here is the right operation. अब read operation भी चलेगा. T2 to T3 already consider कर चुके हैं. Read or write operation T2 to T3 already considered. T2 to T1 is already taken, then T2 to T1, that this is also taken. So we have checked the operations with this one as well. Now is the read operation on Y. We need the write operation on Y. So it's already on the same data item. Write operation on data item Y. It's performed by transaction T1. So T3 to T1, we are getting one more conflict pair, right? तो इस तरीके से आपको क्या करना है, यू नीड टू फाइंड आउट द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट पेयर्स. सो कैन यू टेल मी दैट व्हाट इज द आंसर फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन? आप यहां से भी देख सकते हो, यू कुड हैव कंस्ट्रक्टेड द टेबल. टेबल बना के भी आप चेक कर सकते हो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. ओके. Read operation on data item Z, write operation is performed by the same transaction, no conflict pair. Read operation on data item X, write operation on data item X is performed by T2. So this is resulting into T1 to T2. अब आगे आपको conflict pairs check करने की जरूरत नहीं है, because we had got one conflict pair that was from T2 to T1 and T1 to T2. Basically T1 to T2 and T2 to T1, this means that it is forming a cycle. And if cycle exists, That means we won't get any serial sequence which will satisfy all these conflict pairs. If there is a cycle in the precedence graph, then it is not conflict serializable. So this means that the given schedule is not conflict serializable. We cannot get any serial schedule which will satisfy all these conflict pairs. So answer is not conflict serializable. Make sense? I guess आप लोगों ने try नहीं किए हैं questions. This is the answer for the first assignment question. Second assignment question. Again, here you are supposed to return whether the schedule is conflict serializable or not. If it is not conflict serializable, simply that's the answer. If it is conflict serializable, then I told you to return the serial order. Can you tell me that what all conflict pairs are we getting here? Read operation on data item Y, check for the write operation, same transaction, write operation on data item Y. So first conflict pair आया आपके पास, write operation. So it's T3 to T1 and T3 to T2. Next, read operation on data item Z, check for the write operation. So write operation is performed by the same transaction, will not consider this. Read write operation on data item Z is not available. Read operation on data item X, we want read or write operation on data item X. So there is no read or write operation on data item X. No read or write operation on data item X. Check for Y. So this is resulting into read operation on data item Y. So T3 to T1 we have already taken. Then read operation or write operation on data item Y. This is T3 to T2. This is also considered. तो ये सारे points consider हो चुके. T3 to T1 and T3 to T2. Z के ऊपर कोई operation, yes, it's T3 to T2. It's already taken. Check for the next one. Z. After this, there is no operation on Z. Then read operation on Y. Is there any write operation on Y? So we are getting here T1 to T2. ये हमने नहीं लिए. So this is a new conflict pair. Let's include it here. Write operation on Y, read operation on Y is there. So T1 to T2 already considered on the same transaction. So that's it. So in this case, we are getting three conflict pairs. Is there any cycle? There is no cycle. Easily we can see that T3 is coming before T1 and T2. So here the topological sequence आप directly भी find कर सकते हो. Otherwise, I discuss the concept of the precedence graph and we discuss the topological algorithm in order to find out the sequence. So यहाँ पे आपके पास तीन transactions हैं T1, T2 and T3. T3 to T1, T3 to T2 and T1 to T2. Now we know that topological algorithm will start from the vertex with the end degree 0. So T3 is having end degree 0. So first we'll be taking this out, T3. Along with the outgoing edges, now we are left with T1 and T2. जब आपने T3 को delete किया along with its outgoing edges, so we are left with T1 and T2. And here T1 is the vertex with end degree 0. So next we'll be taking T1 and then T2. This is the topological sequence. Since here there was no cycle, or the precedence graph that we are getting here is it's acyclic. So given schedule is, on the basis of this, simply we can say that given schedule is conflict serializable and its equivalent serial order is returned by the topological sequence, that is T3, T1, T2. अब अगर आप यहाँ पे देखोगे T3 is executed before T1. Yes, this is satisfied here. T3 is executed before T2. That is also satisfied here. T1 should be executed before T2. That is also satisfied here. So this is the equivalent serial order. So sorry. Make sense? तो दो असाइनमेंट क्वेश्चंस थे, एक में आंसर था दैट इज नॉट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट सीरियलाइजेबल एंड इन द अदर वन इट्स कॉन्फ्लिक्ट सीरियलाइजेबल एंड दिस इज द इक्विवेलेंट serial order. Make sense? Yes. So this is about the assignment questions. जो लोग नए हैं, they must be wondering that from where to get these assignment questions. So, guys, let me tell you that we have an official Telegram group that is Shefali ma'am Testbook. इस ग्रुप में मैं डेली बेसिस पे जैसे सेशन खत्म होता है विद इन 10 minutes आई गेस आई शेयर द पीडीएफ. तो पीडीएफ इज इंक्लूडिंग द लिंक इंक. इससे पहले क्या होता था, जो मैं पीडीएफ शेयर कर रही थी दैट वाज विदाउट इंक. तो स्टूडेंट्स वर फेसिंग अ प्रॉब्लम कि जो मैं चीजें डिस्कस करती हूँ, जो एग्जांपल्स लिए ड्यूरिंग द सेशन, तो कई बार वो आप लोग मिस आउट कर देते थे, लिख नहीं पाते थे. सो नाउ I'm sharing the PDF with the ink. So whatever I'm discussing, whatever I'm writing during the session, or whatever is the pre-typed content, every single thing will be there in your PDFs. Okay, so you can download the PDF or jo bhi assignment questions you can solve it. And apart from that, you can ask your queries in this Telegram group. So there is a benefit of involving into the discussions and doubt solving. Apart from that, you can directly interact with me. You can also participate in the quiz and the polls. So the link of this Telegram group is given in the description of the current video. So just try and see if it's there, and join the group if you want to, obviously. And if you want to get the links and the updates related to more content, then don't forget to subscribe the channel. Okay, so एक बार check करो आप लोग. Let's discuss the topic for the day, and after that I'll share my screen. अगर आपको कोई भी difficulty आती है, I'll share my screen and I'll show you that from where you can join this group. Okay. All right. So our topic is view serializable. हमने ये बोला था कि schedules are categorized into two categories based on the serializability. So one is conflict serializable, जो अभी हमने overview देखा. So conflict serializable find करने के लिए we have to find out the conflict pairs, and if in a precedence graph it is acyclic, then it's conflict serializable. Otherwise, it's not conflict serializable. And using the topological sequence algorithm, we can find out the order. In view serializable, व्यू सीरियलाइजेबल में हमें तीन कंडीशंस चेक करनी है. ओके, सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द कंडीशंस. This is, first of all, we need to check that which transaction, which schedule is performing the initial read. जो भी transaction, जो भी schedule पहले initial read perform करे, in the serial order also it should perform the same sequence. Similarly, जिसने भी final write किया है, that means final write means whatever transaction has performed the final write operations, वही transaction second schedule में भी final write operations perform करेगी. That means the final updation will be done by the same transaction, because serial order means we want the same results, right? And apart from that, initial read हो गया, final write हो गया, then is the WR sequences. So in the schedule, we will be just looking for the WR sequences. So these are the conditions, and definitely we have to follow all the three conditions. So it is and choice नहीं है. Okay. अब आपकी तरफ से I was expecting one question that if to check serializability we have covered the concept of conflict serializable, then why are we going for view serializability? Have you wondered that if we have one way to check whether the concurrent schedule is serializable or not, then why we are going for the second method? Because usually we go for the second method only if there is some problem with the first method. So what is the problem with the conflict serializable schedule? So here is the answer. Conflict serializable, if any schedule is conflict serializable, surely it is serializable. But अगर कोई schedule conflict serializable नहीं है, then we cannot say it is not serializable. You getting my point? So for that, we are going for the view serializability. What I'm saying is, let's assume that we are given with some schedule. So first of all, we'll check if it is conflict serializable or not. We'll check if it is conflict serializable or not. So answer can be yes or no. या तो conflict serializable होगा या फिर नहीं होगा. So here it is saying that no, and this is saying that okay. We cannot draw it like this because from here we are getting the different answer. All right. Answer will be yes or no. If it is conflict serializable, we'll get this sequence. So we will say that the given schedule is, if it is conflict serializable, surely it is serializable. But if it is not conflict serializable, then we'll check for view serializability. Then we'll check for view serializability. Now, answer can be yes or no. जब हम check कर रहे हैं कि view serializable है या नहीं है, so answer can be yes or no. If it is view serializable, surely it is serializable. But if it is not view serializable, then we will say that the given schedule is not serializable. ओके यानी कि अगर कोई स्केड्यूल व्यू सीरियलाइजेबल है तो वो सीरियलाइजेबल भी है, अगर व्यू सीरियलाइजेबल नहीं है दैट मींस इट इज नॉट सीरियलाइजेबल. तो अब क्वेश्चन ये आता है कि डायरेक्टली फिर हम व्यू सीरियलाइजेबल चेक करते हैं, टेक सम स्केड्यूल एंड चेक फॉर इफ व्यू सीरियलाइजेबिलिटी. इफ इट इज व्यू सीरियलाइजेबल विल रिटर्न द आंसर. इफ इट इज नॉट व्यू सीरियलाइजेबल we'll say that it's not serializable. Then why we are checking for the conflict serializability? Reason here is conflict serializable check करने के लिए जो हमारे पास algorithm है that is taking polynomial time, whereas for view serializability that is taking exponential time. So we cannot always directly go for the view serializability. अगर हमें polynomial algorithm से answer मिल जाता है कि it is serializable, then we need not to go for the view serializability. Make sense? So this is the reason that we cannot bypass this conflict serializable concept. But here, view serializable is the necessary and the sufficient condition to say that whether the given schedule is serializable or not. Make sense? ये clear हुआ? And obviously, if a schedule is view serializable, there will be some equivalent schedule for the same. So that is known as view equivalent. So view serializable schedule, view equivalent of the given schedule is should be any serial schedule. और ये serial schedule किसके basis पे find करेंगे? On the basis of the dependencies that will be coming from that will be getting from these three steps. Make sense? So just I have to implement these three conditions. That's it. Nothing much to do. So guys, is this clear? Is the difference clear between conflict serializability and the view serializability and the importance? Come on, hurry up. We have to start with the questions. We are not done yet. Any queries? Okay. So let's take here. Let's discuss one trick as well. So this is a trick of blind write. Blind write क्या होता है? नाम से relate करके देखो. Blind write simply says that बिना देखे write करना. That means if any transaction is performing a updation operation, that is performing a write operation without reading that data item, बिना वैल्यू को रीड किए it is directly updating the data item, that is known as blind write. Okay, अब blind write के basis पे, okay, let's take the example T1 and T2. Let us assume that T1 is performing the read operation on data item A and then it is performing the write operation. पहले इसने value को read किया and then it is writing the value, whereas T2 is directly writing the value of A. So without reading any value, if it is writing, that is known as blind write. Blind write. Okay. Blind write. But this is not blind write because पहले इसने value को check किया लिखने से पहले. Blind write. Now, if there exists some schedule which is not having the blind write, there is no blind write existing, then we will say that it is not view serializable schedule. Okay, if no blind write exists, then the schedule must be a non-view serializable. Must be means हमेशा ये condition true होगी, and we need not to check for these three conditions, and directly we can submit our final answer. But if there exists a blind write, then we need to check for these three conditions. Okay, if there exists any blind write, agar blind write exist kar rahe, then the schedule may or may not be view serializable. So we need to follow those three steps. So this is the trick. तो इससे क्या होता है, अब ये होगा कि मैम अगर ब्लाइंड राइट है तब तो सारे स्टेप्स कर ही रहे हैं, तो इससे बेनिफिट ये होगा कि अगर आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन गिवन है एंड दैट शेड्यूल इज नॉन व्यू सीरियलाइजेबल, यू नीड नॉट टू फॉलो एनीथिंग, राइट? इज दिस क्लियर हाउ टू यूज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ ब्लाइंड राइट? बच्चे बिल्कुल मजा नहीं आ रहे सेशन में बिकॉज यू गाइज आर नॉट एट ऑल रिस्पॉन्डिंग, कोई पार्टिसिपेशन ही नहीं है। ऑल्दो ये सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स मैं एक सेशन में करवा सकती थी, बट आई हैव डिवाइडेड इनटू द स्मॉल स्मॉल सेशन सो दैट कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं हो और प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन करके आपको 100% क्लैरिटी आए. But still you guys are not solving the questions or not asking the questions or not interacting during the sessions. Is this clear? How to check for view serializability? As of now, we have talked about two things. That is how to check for the view serializability, what are the conditions, and how this blind write thing works. Okay, let's apply this concept on the question. So first of all, we need to see if there exists any view equivalent serial schedule. So already it's given in the question that we have to identify all view equivalent serial schedules. So iska matlab view serializable hoga. But anyhow, let's check, is there any blind write? If there is no blind write, that means it's not view serializable. These are the read operations. This is the write operation. Before this, is there any transaction, or is the transaction T1 is performing a write operation on data item B, transaction T1 ने did it read the value? क्या वैल्यू को पहले डेटा आइटम बी की वैल्यू को रीड किया? नहीं किया, डायरेक्टली इट इज राइटिंग द वैल्यू. दिस मींस दैट दिस इज ब्लाइंड राइट. और अगर ब्लाइंड राइट आ रहा है आपके पास, देन द शेड्यूल मे और मे नॉट बी द व्यू serializable. So here we need to check for the three conditions, right? That is the final write. Step 1, final write. किसके लिए चेक करेंगे? We'll check for all the data items. How many data items we have in the given schedule? 2 data items are there, A and B. Who is writing the value of A? No one is writing the value of A. Who is writing the value of B? First of all, T1 has written the value, then T2 is writing the value of the data item B, and then T3 is writing the value of the data item B. यानी कि end पे किसने value को write किए? It's the transaction T3. Step 2. Check for the initial read. So again, we'll check for both the data items. It's the data item A and data item B. Who is reading the value? Initial read means reading the value from the database. It's not getting the updated value. So B is read by transaction T2, and then this is this is on A. So A is read by T2 first, then T1, and then T3. So all these are performing the initial read, means not getting the updated value. T2 was reading the value of data item B, and after that this was updated by, पहले T2 ने read किया, and after that the value of B is written by T1, then T2, and then T3. Okay, so from here there is no updation on data item A. तो यहाँ से आपके पास कुछ pairs आएंगे. After initial read, there is no write. After reading the value, it is updated by T1. So here we are getting one conflict pair, T2 to T1. Here we are getting one conflict pair, T2 to T3. Or simply you can say that this is T2 will be executing first, and then will be getting T1 and T3. Okay. Here we got one thing, that T3 should come at the end because it's performing the final write. Step 3 is the WR sequences. It's not, make sure it's not RW, this is WR sequences. Now we are looking for WR sequences. Is there any WR sequence possible in the given schedule? RW is still there. RW is there, but WR sequence is not there. No WR sequence is present, so we are not getting any sequence out of it. Now just merge all the three steps. Step 1 is saying that T3 should come at the end. T3 end पे आएगा. And this is saying that T2 should come before T1 and T3. So what is the possibility? We are getting T2, T1 and T3. This is the view serializable schedule. Is this clear? Can you tell me that what is the given schedule a conflict serializable? Can you tell me that the given schedule is conflict serializable? It's view serializable. We have checked that. So given schedule is view serializable and serial order we have written. If it's the view serializable, surely the given schedule is serializable. Step 2 repeat again. Okay. In step 2 what we are doing is हम लोग initial read check करें. मतलब simple सी चीज है. Initial read का मतलब ये है कि आपने directly value को database से read किया. यानी कि you are getting the unmodified value. तो what I'm doing is after performing the initial read उसके बाद कोई भी transaction उसको update कर रही है doesn't matter. Right? तो यहाँ पे हमने देखा कि data item A को किसने read किया है without any modification. This is the first read operation. Basically initial read means read करने से पहले उस data item के ऊपर कोई write operation नहीं आया है, right? No transaction has performed the write operation before the read operation. Such a read operation is known as initial read. तो यहाँ पे data item B को किसने read किया? Transaction T2 ने. इससे पहले there is no write operation. So data item B के सामने मैंने यहाँ पे लिखा T2. Then read operation on data item A is performed. So A is read by T2. That is transaction 2. Then it is read by transaction T1. Then it is read by transaction T3. उसके बाद values write होनी शुरू हो गई. आपने initial ये सारे क्या है आपके पास initial read. जब हम dependency की बात करते हैं तो we are saying that कि पहले value को read करवा दो उसके बाद इस transaction ने value को update करवाए. Is there any write operation on data item A? No. So I have simply written here there is no updation on data item A. B is written by the transaction T1, T2 and T3. That is what I have taken here. अब यहाँ से conclusion क्या निकल रहा है? This statement is saying that कि पहले T2 read operation perform करेगा because it wants to get the values from the database. It wants to perform the initial read. पहले T2 read करेगा उसके बाद T1 और T3 आ रहे हैं. राइट अगर T1 और T3 पहले आ जाएंगे तो इसका मतलब दिस ट्रांजैक्शन वॉन्ट बी एबल टू परफॉर्म द रीड ऑपरेशन. तो इस कंडीशन के बेसिस पे वी हैव गॉट द डिपेंडेंसी that is T2 should come before because it has to perform the initial read. T2 should come before किससे पहले T1 and T3. मैंने यहाँ पे T2 क्यों नहीं लिया because T2 is determining T2 does not make any sense. That's why I have skipped this. Make sense? So T2 should come before T1 and T3. Final write में हमने ये बोला था कि end पे जो last updation है that should be done by the transaction T3. So this indicates that T3 should come at the end and from here, from this point and from here, by merging these 2 points, we come to this conclusion. Now is this clear? T3 एंड पे आना चाहिए, T2 T1 और T3 से पहले आना चाहिए. तो इसका मतलब क्या है? Simply T2 should come before T1 and T2 and T3 should be at the end. तो बीच में क्या आ गया आपके पास? Transaction T1. Is this clear? अब क्लियर हुआ? Yes, no, may or may not be. Okay, we'll be solving more questions, you'll get more clarity. All right. So I was asking that whether the schedule is conflict serializable. Is this conflict serializable? I just want to give you a proof जो अभी हमने summary discuss की थी serializability की. Uh, I guess it will be going behind my image. Okay, I want to use the space in order to check for conflict serializable. We need to check whether the given schedule is conflict serializable or not. So what we have to do is we need to find out all the conflict pairs. I guess I need to hide the image for a few minutes so that we can use the space. Okay, find out the conflict pairs. This is read operation. Is there any write operation on transaction? Yes. This is write operation on transaction, and T2 to T3 is also there. So we are getting two conflict pairs, T2 to T1 and T2 to T3, right? Check for the next one. It's performing the read operation on A, and there is no write operation on data item A. Read operation on A, no write operation, no write operation. Now next we are getting here is it's T1 to T3. T1 write operation, T1 to T2 is there. T1 to T3 is also there. So we are getting here T1 to T2 and T1 to T3. You are saying that yes, how is it conflict serializable? Have you observed that in this case we are getting a cycle? T2 to T1 is there, T1 to T2 is also there. अगर ऐसे cycle नहीं observe कर पा रहे हो, just construct the precedence graph. We have T1, T2 and T3. So what I'll do is I'll just provide the edges. T2 to T1 is there, T2 to T3 is there, T1 to T3 is there, T1 to T2 is also there. Since in the precedence graph cycle exists, so this means that it is not conflict serializable. तो एग्जाम में क्वेश्चंस कैसे आ सकते हैं? You will be given with some schedule and they say that given schedule is conflict serializable and view serializable. Given schedule is conflict serializable but not view serializable. Not conflict serializable but view serializable. So what's the answer here? The given schedule is view serializable but it is not conflict serializable. So this is what we have said. If a schedule first of all, we are checking for the conflict serializable. If it is conflict serializable, surely it is serializable. But like in this case, we were having not conflict serializable, but it was a view serializable and we got the serial order. Okay. I hope it's clear now. So first example is proving this point. So here the answer is given schedule is view serializable but not conflict serializable. Make sense? Yes? Anyone having any doubt? Clear? Let's move on to the next question. Identify all view equivalent serial schedule and conflict equivalent serial schedules. तो यहाँ पे हमें view equivalent serial schedule बताने हैं and conflict equivalent serial schedule. So first of all, let's check for the conflict equivalent serial schedules. Do you want to try this question? Conflict equivalent serial schedule. For conflict equivalent, we need to find out the conflict pairs. What conflict pairs are we getting here? This is our, there is only the read operation on the data item A and write operation on the data item B. Read operation के बाद कोई write operation नहीं आ रहा, so we won't be getting any conflict pair. Here we are getting T1 to T2, T1 to T3, T1 to T4. So this means that T1 should come before T2, T3 and T4. After that, we are getting the conflict pair T2 to T3, T2 to T4. That means T2 should come before T3 and T4. T3 should come before T4. So on the basis of this, can we return a serial order? Simply this is saying that T1 should come before all the remaining 3 transactions, then T2 should come before T3 and T4, then T3 should come before T4. So ultimately here we have got a conflict equivalent serial schedule. This is conflict equivalent serial schedule. Now we need to check for the view equivalent serial schedule. So view equivalent के लिए we'll find out, we'll follow the steps of the view serializable. Will it be view serializable? These all are the blind writes. Because before writing the value, it is not reading the value since blind write is there. So view serializable हो सकता है, right? So let's check for view equivalent. What are the steps to find out the view equivalent serial schedules? That is the initial read, final update and WR sequence. यहाँ पे there is a WW sequence possible, no RW or WR sequence possible. So first of all, no WR sequences possible here. Other condition that we need to check is the initial read. So we have two data items A and B. A is initially read by T1, T2, T3 and T4 और read करने के बाद there is no transaction which is updating these values. This is the initial read, right? And on B there is no initial read but it is updated by transaction T1, T2 and T3 and T4. तो definitely यहाँ से आपके पास कोई possible pair नहीं आया. Then comes the final update. Final update. Since here two data items are there, so we'll consider both A and B. A is written by no transaction. No transaction is writing the data item A, whereas data item B is first of all written by transaction T1, then T2, then T3 and then T4. That means the final updation is done by the transaction T4. So the transaction who is performing the final updation should come at the end क्योंकि finally ultimately जो final value write करनी है that transaction is writing the value. So T4 तो यहाँ से आपके पास क्या conclusion निकला? Here we are saying that WR sequence से कोई pair नहीं आया, initial read से no pair is coming up, final update is saying that T4 end पे आना चाहिए. So T4 should come at the end. उससे पहले T1, T2, T3 का क्या order रहेगा? We cannot say anything. That means these can come in any order. Does not make any sense. Does not make any difference. So this should be satisfied. This means that these can come in any order. So in how many ways can we arrange this? In how many ways can we arrange or how many sequences are possible here? We are saying that T1, T2, T3 can come in any order. The only thing is at the end there should be T4. So here we can say that T1 is coming first, then is the T2 and then T3 and then T4. Other possibility is T1 is coming first, then we are getting T3, T2 and then T4. T2 is coming first. Basically, if 3 elements are there, it is 3 factorial. That means we will be getting 6 view equivalent serial schedules. T2, T1 and T3, T2, T3, T1, T4. इन पे T4 आना चाहिए, उससे पहले कुछ कोई भी sequence possible है. So that's what I'm writing here. So these are the possible sequences. So all these are the view equivalent serial schedules, जबकि इनमें से सिर्फ एक schedule है which is conflict serializable. बाकी के 5 view serializable है but not conflict serializable. So here we are getting 6 view serializable schedules, view serializable schedules, and one conflict serializable schedule is possible. One conflict serializable schedule is possible. This is the conflict serializable schedule, and here we have the set of 6 view serializable schedules. Make sense? Doubt? तो अभी तक जितने भी हमने क्वेश्चंस के, although we have discussed 2 questions, so we have compared the conflict serializable schedules and the view serializable schedules. I hope that the difference is clear. So any schedule, if it is view serializable, surely it is serializable. But if any schedule is conflict serializable, it is serializable. But agar conflict serializable nahi hai, then we cannot say it is not serializable. It may be view serializable. Okay, so I hope that this is clear to everyone. So now I want you to identify, in this case, if it's a view serializable schedule. If yes, then identify all the view equivalent serial schedules. So if you observe here we have a blind write. If blind write is there, then it may or may not be view serializable. No blind write means surely not view serializable. तो यहाँ पे आपके पास view serializable schedule हो सकता है. Second hint you are getting from the question itself. Here I have written that identify all the view equivalent serial schedules. So quickly find out. You know that you have to follow 3 steps. Initial read, final update, and WR sequences. Okay. Initial read, final update, and WR sequences. Identify them. किसके ऊपर देखेंगे initial read? On all the data items. So in this case, we are given with 4 data items, A, B, C, and D as well. A, B, C, and D. First of all, we'll identify that who is initially performing the read operation, and after that, who is updating that data item. So data item A is initially read by transaction T2, then by transaction T1, and C is not performing any initial read क्योंकि C ने पहले ही write operation perform कर दिया. Then is write operation on data item B is executed first, and write operation on data item D. So there is no initial read for the data item A, B, or C. Now check who is updating this value. A को किसने write किया? A is written by the transaction T3. as well as this is written by the transaction T4. So here who is updating the value, actually it doesn't matter because anyhow we won't be getting any result here. So out of this initial read से हमारे पास conclusion क्या सामने आया? T2 and T1 should be executed before updating the value, and transaction T3 and T4 is updating the value. So this is one uh, dependency that we are getting. Second one is the final update. Find out the final update. On all the data items, we'll check for the final updates A, B, C, and D. A is written by the data item transaction T3 and T4. T3 and T4. B is written by the transaction T1 and T4. Data item C is written by the transaction T1. That's it. And D is written by the transaction T2. From here, we are getting T3 to T4, T1 to T4. So this means that T3 should be executed before T4, T1 should be executed before T4. So final result on the basis of these two dependencies is T1 and T3 should be executed before T4. Make sense? Third step, check for the WR sequences. Yeah, the clear one. So what I'm doing is I'm finding out all the possibilities, I'm finding out all the dependencies, and on the basis of that, we will be returning the equivalent serial schedule. WR sequences. Write operation is performed here. Check for is there any read operation? Yes, this is the WR sequence. On the same data item, write and read operation. So this is returning T1 to T3 on the basis of we are getting it from W1C and R3. See, you need not to write this. This is just for your reference क्योंकि ये first question है जिसमें WR sequences are in. Then is write and it's performing the read operation on the data item C. So it's T1 to T4. W1C and R4C. Is there any other read operation on data item C? No, it's not there. Then is W1B and it's performing the read operation. So WR a sequence. This is also T1 to T4. So I'm not writing this again. R4 of B. Any other read operation on data item B? Yes. So it is T1 to T2. This we have got on the basis of W1B and R2B. Next, no other read operation on data item B. Now check for W3A. Is there any transaction who is reading the data item A? No, it's not there. Then is data item C. We have already covered this. Write operation on data item D, and that's it. So these are the conflict pairs that we are getting. Yes. So what is the result here? T1 should be executed. T1 should come before T3, T4 and T2. On the basis of this, can you find out the result? This is saying that T1 and T2, T1 सारी dependencies में सबसे पहले आ रहे हैं. So just club all these, or you can also draw a precedence graph. T1 should come before T2, T3 and T4. Then T4 should come after T1, T2 and T3 के भी बाद में आएगा. So this is T4. And then is T1, T2. So here we get T2, T3 and T4. Is this clear? So you can see all the conditions are satisfied here. T1, T2 दोनों T3 से पहले आ रहे हैं, T4 से पहले आ रहे हैं. T1, T3 both are coming before T4. T1 should come before all the three transactions. So by merging all these three conditions, we are getting the schedule. So this is the view equivalent serial schedule. Make sense? Is this clear, guys? So this is about the view serializability. One more question. Identify all view equivalent serial schedule. In this case also we have a blind write, though this is obviously higher chances hai it will be view serializable. So not view serializable to nahi hai because blind write is there. Now quickly find out. Again you have to follow the same process. Final update, initial read and WR sequences. Or you can take this question as the assignment. Let's talk about the checkpoints because we are running out of time. So I'm just giving you one question as the assignment. Just revise the concepts, whatever we have discussed, and solve this assignment question. इसको भी सॉल्व कर लो. कल सारे क्वेश्चंस एक साथ लेते हैं, रिकवरेबिलिटी और सीरियलाइजेबिलिटी के क्वेश्चंस. So we have, as of now, we have covered the concept of recoverability. Under recoverability, we have talked about the irrecoverable schedule, recoverable schedule, cascadeless recoverable schedules, and strict recoverable. Then the schedules on the basis of serializability are categorized into two categories: conflict serializable and view serializable. This means that we are done with the types of the schedules. And tomorrow in the master class, we will be solving the questions from all these topics. Okay, तो आज भी master class नहीं रखते क्योंकि serializability के एक topic आज खत्म हुए. So tomorrow we'll be having a master class at 8 p.m. So I want you to get comfortable with all these concepts and I want you to revise the previous year questions. Just try to attempt it. क्योंकि अगर कोई भी doubt होगा तो in tomorrow's live session you can ask your questions. Okay. All right. One more concept that we had missed while talking about the basics of database, that is database recovery techniques and DBMS. So we have talked about, actually we discussed this in the transaction only. So we talked about the commit and rollback. Commit means जो भी changes हुए हैं, those are permanently written, and rollback means the changes are undone. But if there exists any failure or कोई भी software है, कोई भी database है, anything, obviously there is always a chance of getting a failure. Any system can crash, any system can fail. So definitely there should be some recovery methods available. एक तो मैनुअल अप्रोच है कि लॉग फाइल में सारी की सारी चीजें आई है कि क्या कमिट हुआ है, क्या रोल बैक हुए, एंड जस्ट डू the recovery manually. But definitely if we have a large database, then it's going to take a lot of time, right? So we need some method which makes this recovery method faster. So for that we are going to use the checkpoints in our file. Okay, so here is the theory whatever we have discussed. So database systems like any other computer system are subject to failure. Database systems भी fail हो सकते हैं, but the data stored in the databases should be available. जब भी आपको data चाहिए, it should be available irrespective of what sort of failure has occurred. When a database fails, it must possesses the facilities of the fast recovery. अब जो ये recovery होती है, it can be automatic recovery or it can be the manual recovery. So it must also have atomicity, यानी कि या तो किसी transaction के सारे operations perform नहीं हुए या फिर सारे के सारे operations perform हुए हैं. So there are both the automatic and non-automatic. Non-automatic way of recovery means the manual way is there for backing up the data and to recover the data from any sort of failures. The techniques used to recover the lost data due to system crash, transaction error, virus, catastrophic failure, incorrect commands, execution, etc. are database recovery techniques. तो अब इस डेटा को कैसे रिकवर करेंगे? One thing is commit means changes हुए हैं, but if the database is lost, so in that case we will be redo all those transactions. जो भी transactions commit हुई थी उन सबको redo करेंगे, means दोबारा से करेंगे. एंड जो ट्रांजेक्शन्स कमिट नहीं हुई थी उनके जितने भी ऑपरेशंस परफॉर्म हुए थे सारे ऑपरेशंस को रोल बैक कर देंगे. दैट मींस विल परफॉर्म द अनडू ऑपरेशन. So recovery techniques are heavily dependent upon the existence of a special failure that is known as the log file. Basically, system log contains all the information about a transaction, ki transaction kab start hui, kab khatam hui, and what updations has been occurred in that transaction. So these log files keep track of all the transaction operations that affect the values of the database items. Okay, and this log file is used to recover from the transaction failure. Already we have talked about the commit. In the commit, we have said that the log entry records that the transaction has completed. जो भी transactions operation complete कर चुकी है, so those entries are there and permanently reflect करने के लिए we are using the commit. अब log file में lot many commits and lot many things are there. तो अगर हम manually recover करते हैं from the starting, we have to go through the complete log file. So there is another clause here is go for the concept of checkpoint. Now what this checkpoint is saying, checkpoint simply says that कि इस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट तक डेटाबेस इज इन द कंसिस्टेंट स्टेट, यानी कि उससे पहले हमें उससे पहले के लॉग फाइल्स आर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. ओके, सो व्हेनेवर देयर इज चेक पॉइंट, दैट मींस टिल दैट पॉइंट डेटाबेस इज इन द कंसिस्टेंट स्टेट. चेक पॉइंट के बाद जो ट्रांजेक्शन है या चेक पॉइंट के टाइम पे जो ट्रांजेक्शन चल रही थी, वी जस्ट हैव टू चेक द एंट्रीज फॉर दोज ट्रांजेक्शंस ओनली. अगर चेक पॉइंट नहीं होगा, वी कीप ऑन मेंटेनिंग द लॉग फाइल, तो लॉग फाइल का साइज बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगा और एंड ऑब्वियसली इफ यू हैव टू डू द रिकवरी, जितनी ज्यादा बड़ी फाइल होगी उतना ज्यादा टाइम लेगा, right? So that's why the concept of checkpoint is introduced, and checkpoint says that uh, before the checkpoint everything is in the consistent state, database is in the consistent state. So just notice the difference between all these three terms, because जब questions आएंगे तो we'll be talking about these three terms, that is commit, abort. Abort means rollback भी बोल सकते हो, और abort means the transaction has been stopped, and the checkpoint. Commit simply says that the log entry records that transaction T has completed all accesses to the database successfully. जितने भी access करने थे, it is successfully done, and the effect can be committed. Committed means records को permanently write कर देंगे कहाँ पे, database में. Abort, this simply means that the transaction has been aborted, and checkpoint is a mechanism where the previous logs are removed from the system. इससे पहले वाले जितने भी logs हैं, it will be removed and stored permanently on a storage disk. Checkpoints declares a point which the system was in the consistent state and all the transactions were committed. अब क्वेश्चन कैसा आएगा, you will be given with some records of the log file, and they'll ask you that what all transactions we need to, on what transactions we need to perform the redo operation or the undo operation. Okay, so how to identify that? After the checkpoint, if any transaction is getting committed, okay, committed means transaction successfully execute हो चुकी है, changes are written, so we need to redo all those operations. But if any transaction was executing and some failure is coming up but commit नहीं हुई है, so that transaction, उस transaction के जो operations है उनको हम क्या कर देंगे, undo. That's it. This is the overall concept of using the checkpoints. So simply, here is the use of the checkpoint. When a system crash occurs, user must consult the log. जब crash आएगा तो details कहाँ से मिलेंगी, log file से. In principle, that need to search the entire log to determine this information. पूरी log file check करनी पड़ेगी, which is sheer wastage of time. तो इससे हमारे पास दो difficulties आएंगी. पहली, it will be a time consuming process, because most of the transactions that according to this algorithm it needs to be redone, जो जिनके changes already हम database में लिख चुके हैं, database में आ चुके हैं but disk में नहीं आए, right? checkpoint तक आने का मतलब कि जो transactions checkpoint तक commit हो चुकी हैं, that means those changes are written in the database as well as saved in the disk as well. Okay, I hope you are getting this point. I'm not too fast. Although redoing them will cause no harm, जो database में save हो चुके हैं उसको अगर आप redo भी कर रहे हो तो भी कोई problem नहीं है, but definitely recovery will take longer time. So instead of using this method, in order to reduce this overhead, we are introducing the concept of the checkpoints. So under the checkpoints, what we have said is, let us assume that we have four transactions, T1, T2, T3, T4 and T5. I'm taking 5 transactions here. Some operations were performed and then this transaction got committed. This transaction was executing and here we have a checkpoint. Here we have applied a checkpoint. This transaction was executing, this transaction was executing, and here this gets committed after performing some more operations, and after some time this transaction started with its execution and this doesn't get committed. ये डॉट डॉट का मतलब है कुछ रीड और राइट ऑपरेशंस परफॉर्म हुए, ट्रांजैक्शन हैज परफॉर्म सम ऑपरेशंस बट वी आर नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन द ऑपरेशंस. I just want you to understand that how this checkpoint and the commit thing is working. This gets committed. अब checkpoint का मतलब ये changes are done in the database and also written to the disk. So simply we can ignore it. ये transaction already complete हो चुकी है. Transaction T was executed and here we are getting a failure. यहाँ पे आपके पास failure आ गया. This is failure. Now on what transactions will be performing the redo operation? जो transaction commit हुई है यानी कि it has made the changes to the database but disk में changes नहीं आए. That means we need to perform, since it is getting committed after the checkpoint, so we need to perform the redo operation. तो हमें 5 transactions given है, we have to tell that what will be done. Redo operation will be performed on transaction T2. T1 पे कुछ नहीं करना because that is already done, and T3 started after the checkpoint और उससे पहले ही खत्म भी हो गया और कोई भी operation no changes was made to the database, तो simply we can undo these operations. मतलब database में कहीं पे कुछ reflect ही नहीं हो रहा. Similarly, T4 was already executing before the checkpoint, but इसने भी कोई changes database में नहीं किए. That means we can undo this transaction. This transaction gets committed after the checkpoint, so definitely we need to perform the redo operation on T5. So in simple terms, if any transaction gets committed after the checkpoint, then we need to perform the redo operations on the operations of that particular transaction. And if any transaction does not get committed after the checkpoint, then for that we'll perform the undo operation. Is this clear? So here I have written this. To reduce these types of overhead, user introduces the concept of the checkpoint. A log record of the checkpoint is used to represent. ये क्या represent कर रहे हैं? Log file में आपके पास इस तरीके की entry आएगी. This represent that it's a checkpoint. And here is the list of active transactions. Is a list of transactions active at the time of checkpoint. इस time पे कौन-कौन सी transactions active है? It is transaction T2 and T4. When a checkpoint log record is added, all the transactions that have committed before this checkpoint, जो भी transactions checkpoint से पहले commit हुई हैं, have T1 commit log record before the checkpoint, तो इनमें कोई changes करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Any database modifications made by transaction T1 is written to the database either prior to the checkpoint or as a point of checkpoint itself. या तो यहाँ तक database में values write होगी या फिर इससे पहले values write हो चुकी है. दस एट द रिकवरी टाइम, जब हम रिकवर कर रहे हैं तो उस टाइम पे हमें T1 के ऊपर कोई भी ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म करने की जरूरत नहीं है. देयर इज नो नीड टू परफॉर्म अ रीड ऑपरेशन ऑन द ट्रांजेक्शन TI. व्हाट इज दिस TI? TI has written the value before the checkpoint or during the checkpoint, right? So that's why we are not performing. T1 does not require any operation. No operation has to be performed on the transaction T1. Okay. Next, कब operations perform करने? When it is committed, it gets committed after the transaction. So note that user need only to examine the part of the log starting with the last checkpoint. सिर्फ last checkpoint पे जाओगे, records देखोगे and find out whether the transaction is committed or it's simply aborted due to the failure. अगर transaction commit हुई है, then we'll be performing the redo operation on that transaction, and if it is aborted, then simply we'll take that under the undo. So here, after a system crash has occurred, the system examines the log file to find the last record. Undo and redo operations needs to be applied only to the transaction of the active list. जो active list है transactions की, उस पे हमें redo और undo operations perform करने. So the record rules are already discussed. So basically ये जो तीन चार slides हैं, this is the summary with the help of the example. I guess this is more than sufficient. You need not need to cram all these points. Okay, is this clear? So this is all from my side. Those who are following this session for the first time, guys, I'll share this PDF in the Telegram group. Telegram group is Shefali ma'am Testbook. So you guys can retrieve the data from this group. In case you have any doubt or queries, you can post that in the group. You can directly interact with me. Quiz or polls में participate कर सकते हो. Link of this group is given in the description box. So now I'm going to share my screen. Just let me know if it is clear. So I'll show you the link that where is it available. Hope my screen is visible to everyone. So currently this session is going on. So just go to the description, and this description में जो first link है, that is for the NIC NILET 2023 master classes. So if you are targeting on NILET exam, तो आप इन master classes को देख सकते हो. It will be beneficial for you. What I have done in these master classes is subject wise और year wise PYQs करवाए मैंने इनमें. Subject wise and year wise means, for example, I have covered the concepts of DBMS. तो पहले सेशन में DBMS के क्वेश्चन आएंगे जो 2022 और 21 में आए हैं, then 20 and 19. So it depends on कि कितने questions हैं. So that is subject wise and year wise. तो बहुत अच्छे से segregate किए. So it might be helpful for you guys if you are targeting on NIC NELET exam. And if you want to join the NIC Super Coaching batch, so this is the second link. It will take you to the Super Coaching. Super Coaching का benefit ये है कि सारे के सारे concepts डिटेल में cover किए हैं, including technical, non-technical and the programming concepts. If you want to cover the 100% syllabus, then be it the NIC batch or be it the UGC NET or GATE, तो पूरी detailed description along with the notes, everything will be covered under the Super Coaching. Obviously, Super Coaching is a subscription. And definitely Telegram group के लिए तो कोई subscription नहीं चाहिए. So you can click on this third link. This will take you to the GATE Super Coaching Telegram group, and here you will get the link of the videos. जितने भी YouTube sessions है मैं इनका link share भी कर देती हूँ. Moreover, if you subscribe for the channel, तो आपके पास notifications भी आने शुरू हो जाएंगे. And join the Super Coaching Gate batch if you want to cover the 100% syllabus and to get the maximum benefit. You can go for the code that is Shefali S. Benefits of the super coaching is, as already told you, that you will get the 100% notes, और जो notes होंगे it will be in the PDF format. अभी मैं I show you that because we do not have the subscription, so definitely these notes will be logged. तो सबसे पहले बच्चे आपके पास आते हैं courses. So here you will be able to see that we have a list of all the courses, full courses and the subject course. All courses means it's a merged list of the full courses and the subject course. I'm going to the full course. So here in the super coaching, you can learn the concept from the multiple educators at your own pace, right? जितना कई बार क्या होता है कि some people want more pace, they can have more sitting. So आप अपनी pace के according एक दिन में कितना content cover करना चाहते हो, it's up to you. और कहाँ से cover करना चाहते हो, that's also up to you. Okay. So complete course by Gate Forum is available, by Digimento is available, by Nimbus Learning is there, and by Testbook itself. So this is by me and my team. You can see here under this 250 videos are available, and the language used here is the English. That is a combination of Hindi and English, and you can see the rating as well. So इससे एक चीज आती है माइंड में कि हाँ ठीक है कि जितने भी कोर्सेज है बच्चे किसी में भी 4.5 से कम रेटिंग नहीं है. सो कंप्लीटली यू कैन रिलाई ऑन दीज कोर्सेज एंड जो भी आपको प्रैक्टिस सेट क्वेश्चंस दिए जाएंगे दैट विल बी हेल्पफुल फॉर यू गाइस. सो यू कैन हैव अ लुक ओवर द प्रोफाइल ऑफ द सुपर टीचर्स. यू कैन go for the demo classes, and live series is there. Under the live series we'll be having the sessions like a quick revision session. So basically, how this live series work, we conduct one session, जैसे recoverability and serializability पे quick revision किया. Then next day we'll be solving all the PYQs on the basis of that uh, topic. Okay, and during the session you can ask your questions. Complete course will not be taught live in the detailed manner, okay, because that is already available in the recorded format. Live series is more about the discussions and the doubt solving, and to have the quick revision. आपने कॉन्सेप्ट रिवाइज किया हुआ है, आपने कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ा हुआ है, तो जब क्विक रिवीजन करके क्वेश्चंस करते हैं, then it will give you the confidence. Okay, this is the benefit of the live series. And apart from this, and under the super coaching, test book pass is already included. Test book pass में आपके पास mock test है, test series है. So this is already included in the super coaching. You need not to purchase it exclusively. And study notes are also available under the super coaching. This is available for engineering mathematics, general aptitude. Formula notes are the short notes जो आप revision के time पे, exam के time पे refer करोगे, because if we have 10 subjects, we cannot refer to the detailed notes of the 10 subjects before the exam. So that time, these formula notes are very, very helpful. And under the computer science, all the technical subjects are there. You can see here programming and data structures, operating system. तो जितने units हैं, हर unit के लिए सेपरेट पीडीएफ फाइल है फॉर कंपाइलर डिजाइन. तो बट as of now I cannot go into more details of these notes. I cannot show you that because this is locked. Why is it locked? Because we do not have the subscription. जैसे ही आपके पास सुपर कोचिंग की सब्सक्रिप्शन होगी, you will be able to download all these notes. ये जितने भी वीडियोस हैं और फॉर्मूला नोट्स हैं, you can download it. Okay. And now if we talk about the pricing, so we have three types of plans available for you guys: 1 year plan, 2 year plan, and 3 year plan. 1 year plan is basically for the students, those who are currently in the final year of BTech or those who are pass outs and dedicatedly preparing for the GATE exam. And if you are in the third year, then I'll suggest you to go for a 2 year plan. In fact, second year students can also go for a 2 year plan, because 2 साल में आपकी गेट की इतनी प्रिपरेशन हो जाती है कि फोर्थ ईयर में you need not to prepare it exclusively. Moreover, once you have prepared for the GATE exam, तो आपको NIC, ISRO, UGC नेट इन सब के लिए अलग से प्रिपेयर करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बिकॉज जितने भी ये कॉम्पिटेटिव एग्जाम्स है, majority syllabus is the GATE syllabus only. GATE syllabus के benefits ये हैं, बाकी सारे एग्जाम्स की प्रिपरेशन हो जाएगी, कंपनीज की टेक्निकल राउंड की प्रिपरेशन हो जाएगी, एंड the benefit is you will be able to like score more in your semester exams, क्योंकि जो GATE syllabus में technical subjects हैं, those are the core technical subjects which are taught in the second year and third year. That means third, fourth, fifth, sixth semester. इन 4 semesters में जो subject पढ़ाए जाते हैं, that is a part of the GATE syllabus. So once you have understood any concept in the depth, कॉन्सेप्ट को अगर आपने अच्छे से डेप्थ में अंडरस्टैंड कर दिया, by writing the examples you can easily write the theory for the same, right? So these are the benefits of getting one subscription. So here is the plan, and in order to get the full benefits, so you can see here, you can apply the code. Just type here Shefali S, and you will get the maximum benefits. Shefali S. This code is given in the description of the video as well. जो अभी YouTube session चल रहा है, so just apply it. Okay. So this is all from my side. I hope that Telegram link भी आपको पता चल गया. Anyone having any doubt or query? So this is all from my side. So tomorrow we will be starting with the concurrency control. Under the concurrency control, we have two types of protocols. One is the locking protocols, and other one is the timestamp based protocols. Timestamp based protocols. So two types of protocols are there. So this will be covered in tomorrow's session at 4 p.m. Okay. Those who are new guys, daily Monday to Friday we are having two sessions, but क्योंकि ट्रैक पे लेके आना था, you guys didn't wanted to solve the questions on the same day जिस दिन पे concept discuss हुए, तो इसलिए बीच में एक दो दिन का gap आ गया. Anyhow, we have two sessions every day, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's on YouTube, in which we are covering the concept. जैसे आज वाले session में हमने सिर्फ concepts किए हैं. I have not discussed any previous year question. And on the basis of these concepts, we are covering the previous year questions in the masterclass, that is of 30 minutes. In this, we are covering the PYQs. Okay, platform is undoubtedly different, but you need not to pay anything for these two sessions. This is on YouTube, and this is for Testbook Masterclass. And don't think it's on Testbook platform, so it's paid. It is free. Okay, and definitely today there is no masterclass. Tomorrow we will be discussing the PYQs on recoverability and serializability. Okay, so this is all from my side. Do you guys have any doubt or query? Is there any doubt or query to anyone? I guess no. So, okay, so we'll end our discussion here. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time, that is at 4 p.m. So, guys, please be on time. And for tomorrow's masterclass, be ready. We be clear with the concepts of recoverability and serializability. Okay, so this is all about this session. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye bye. Good night. Take care.